The entrance to the shimmering structure swallowed Jason and his team in a wave of light. The symbols on its surface shifted rapidly, reflecting their movements like ripples across water. Inside, the air was warmer, filled with a subtle vibration that resonated in their bones. Jason could feel it tugging at his thoughts, not threatening, but demanding attention. It was as if the structure itself was alive, observing their presence and evaluating their worth. Siren led the way, her movements graceful and confident. She seemed attuned to the structure, stepping over invisible thresholds that humankind would never have noticed. Jason followed closely, scanning the surroundings. The walls were made of a material that seemed liquid but solid at the same time. Patterns moved across the surfaces, changing with every glance, as if reflecting their emotions or thoughts. "This place is incredible," whispered Dr. Lenacor, her eyes wide with awe. "I've never seen anything like it in all the research stations, archives, and expeditions combined." Jason nodded, but he kept his attention on the pathway. "Focus," he murmured to himself. "Remember what she said, curiosity opens doors, but understanding is the key." Siren stopped suddenly in front of a large, circular platform that seemed to float a few inches above the ground. Faint blue energy pulsed beneath it, forming patterns that reminded Jason of constellations, but constellations he had never seen. "This is the first test," Siren said, her voice calm but firm. "You must demonstrate perception, not just observation. Humans rely too much on what they can see. To succeed here, you must see with more than your eyes." Jason glanced at the team. "What does that mean?" he asked. "It means," Siren replied, "that what you perceive with the mind is just as important as what your eyes record. Trust your intuition. Trust each other. Only then will the path forward open." Jason took a deep breath. "All right, let's do this." He stepped onto the platform. It responded immediately, glowing brighter beneath his boots. A wave of light spread from his feet, and the symbols on the walls shifted again. It was as if the structure recognized him and was beginning a dialogue, not with words, but with energy, patterns, and vibrations. The team followed, each stepping carefully onto the platform. Their combined presence caused the symbols to shift faster, creating intricate patterns. Jason noticed that the patterns were not random. They mirrored their actions, subtly adjusting to their balance, posture, and even their focus. "See?" Siren said. "The structure reflects the essence of those who enter. It tests your awareness, your harmony, and your willingness to understand. You must move as one, or the path will remain closed." Jason exchanged a glance with Dr. Core and the other team members. "Move as one, okay. Everyone, pay attention to each other, not just the symbols." They followed his lead, sensing their steps, moving slowly and deliberately across the platform. The pattern shifted in response, becoming smoother, more fluid. The air itself seemed to hum in acknowledgement. Jason felt a thrill of hope. Maybe they were doing it right. Suddenly, the platform vibrated beneath them. A soft hum filled the air, and a new series of lights appeared on the walls. The patterns now formed recognizable shapes, stars, planets, and constellations from the Milky Way, but they were arranged differently, as if showing a map not of space, but of something else entirely. "What is this?" asked one of the team members, a young cadet named Arlo. "Is it a map?" "Yes," Siren said, "but not just any map. It is a map of potential, the energy of life, thought, and action across this galaxy. You see the stars, but you must understand the connections between them. Every choice, every action, affects the whole. Humanity must learn this to survive." Jason studied the shapes carefully. He began to see patterns in the arrangement, like cause and effect across distances and time. "So this shows consequences," he said. "If we act here, it affects something light years away." Siren nodded. "Exactly. This knowledge is dangerous if misunderstood, but it can also elevate humanity if learned with wisdom and humility." The team moved further into the structure, guided by the energy pulses. The walls began to shift again, opening a new passageway that led into a circular chamber at the center. The room was vast, larger than anything the shuttle's sensors had suggested. In the middle, a pool of liquid light floated above the ground. Symbols hovered above it, slowly rotating like planets in orbit, This is the source. Saren explained. The core of Layer 9's intelligence. It connects knowledge, memory, and understanding across worlds. To access it, you must contribute something uniquely human: your creativity, your courage, your ability to see possibilities others cannot. Jason stepped forward cautiously. How do we contribute? You must focus on a challenge, Saren replied. One that requires more than data. One that requires imagination, strategy, and heart. Only then will the core recognize your value and respond. The team exchanged nervous glances. They were scientists, soldiers, and explorers, not philosophers or prophets. But Jason felt a surge of determination. Humanity had always thrived in impossible situations, overcoming odds with ingenuity and courage. This was no different. All right, he said firmly. We'll try. We'll solve the challenge together. The core pulsed brighter as they approached. The liquid light rippled, forming images in the air, scenes of distant worlds, alien civilizations, and interstellar events. Jason realized that the challenge was not just intellectual, it required intuition, empathy, and teamwork. A scenario appeared, a planet in crisis, its orbit destabilized by a nearby star. The population faced extinction unless a solution was found. Symbols appeared showing resources, potential strategies, and possible consequences. The images moved quickly, requiring fast analysis and decision-making. Jason gestured to the team. We need a plan. Think fast. Each of us contributes science, strategy, logistics. Let's combine everything we know. They worked quickly, analyzing the scenario. Dr. Core suggested a method to stabilize the planet's orbit using a combination of gravitational manipulation and energy redirection. Arlo proposed a sequence for implementing it without harming the population. Jason coordinated, combining all inputs into a coherent solution. As they acted, the core responded. The liquid light rippled in approval, absorbing their plan and integrating it into the surrounding patterns. The energy pulses grew stronger, filling the chamber with a sense of accomplishment and connection. Jason felt a strange warmth, as if the structure itself recognized their effort and respected it. Saren watched quietly, her expression unreadable. You see, she said, humanity is more than eyes, more than data, more than instinct. You are capable of understanding, of foresight, of courage when it matters. That is why you have been chosen to witness the true heart of Layer 9. Jason felt a swell of pride, not for himself alone, but for the team. They had worked together, combining their strengths and overcoming hesitation and fear. In that moment, he realized that the alien had been testing more than their perception. It was testing humanity itself. The chamber began to shift again. New symbols appeared, forming what looked like a pathway leading deeper into the structure. The core's light spread along it, illuminating the walls with patterns that suggested even greater mysteries lay ahead. You have succeeded in this trial, Saren said. But this is only the beginning. Knowledge is infinite, and understanding is earned in layers. The path ahead will challenge you further. But remember, curiosity opens doors, and courage allows passage. Humanity has both if it chooses to use them wisely. Jason nodded, feeling both exhilaration and apprehension. The adventure was far from over, and he knew that each step forward would require more than bravery. It would require insight, collaboration, and a willingness to see beyond the immediate. He glanced at his team. They were exhausted, but their eyes reflected determination. Together, they had proven that humans were capable of more than observation. They were capable of understanding, strategy, and unity. This was the essence of what Saren had meant. The journey was not just about discovery, but about growth, both personal and collective. As they prepared to move deeper into the chamber, Jason felt a renewed sense of purpose. Humanity had always reached for the stars, driven by curiosity and courage. Now, on Layer 9, they were learning that the universe was not only vast and unknown, but also responsive, reflecting their choices, their creativity, and their spirit. With a final glance at Saren, Jason stepped forward. Let's see what lies ahead, he said. Together, and with that, the team moved into the next chamber, unaware of the challenges, revelations, and wonders that awaited them, but confident in the strength of their unity, their curiosity, and their human spirit. The deeper they went into the alien structure, the more Jason felt the weight of intelligence around him. It was as if the walls themselves were alive, absorbing every thought, every emotion, every hesitation. The glow of the liquid light illuminated corridors that seemed to stretch farther than the ship's sensor suggested, defying normal space. It was impossible to tell how long they had been walking, but every step made Jason more aware of the responsibility they carried. To represent humanity with courage, creativity, and wisdom, Saren led them into a vast chamber, circular in shape, with an enormous dome overhead. The ceiling shimmered with constellations, not only of stars but of energy patterns Jason had never seen before. They pulsed in rhythm with the team's heartbeat, or maybe it was the structure's heartbeat, responding to theirs. "This is the chamber of connection," Saren said, her voice echoing softly. "Here, you will face your greatest trial, not one of strength, not one of skill alone, but one of understanding, unity, and the courage to act when knowledge alone is not enough." Jason glanced around at the team. Dr. Core's eyes were wide with anticipation, Arlo's jaw set with determination, and the others appeared tense but ready. Jason took a deep breath. "All right," he said. "Whatever it is, we face it together." The floor of the chamber began to glow, forming a large map of the galaxy, more detailed than any Terran charts they had ever seen. Lines of energy connected planets, stars, and systems in ways that were incomprehensible at first glance. Symbols floated above the map, shifting as though alive. "Your trial," Saren continued, "is to prevent a collapse. The universe has events that threaten balance. Some you can foresee, others you cannot. You must use your perception, intuition, and human ingenuity to solve this scenario. Fail, and the lesson will be lost. Succeed, and humanity will earn knowledge beyond your imagining." Jason's mind raced. He had led soldiers in combat, made difficult decisions, and faced impossible odds, but this was different. It wasn't a fight for survival in the traditional sense. It was a test of insight, strategy, and collaboration on a scale that reached across the stars. The energy map shifted, showing a series of planets whose orbits were destabilizing. Comets and asteroids appeared on trajectories that could cause devastation if not corrected. One planet, rich with life, seemed particularly at risk. Its population would not survive without intervention. Jason pointed to the planet. "We need to stabilize this system, but we don't have the tools here. We have to find a way using logic, physics, and coordination." Dr. Core nodded. "Perhaps if we redirect the energy flows from nearby stars or use gravitational lenses. It's risky, but theoretically possible." Arlo stepped forward. "I've calculated multiple sequences for intervention. If we combine them with the structure's energy patterns, we could create a stabilizing field around the planet." Jason processed their suggestions. The chamber pulsed as if encouraging him to make a decision. He realized that hesitation would waste time. "Then we combine the solutions," he said firmly. "We coordinate the gravitational adjustment with the energy flows. We'll need precise timing, but I believe it can work." The team began working together, their minds synchronized in a way that felt almost instinctual. Dr. Core manipulated the energy patterns through gestures, shaping them into stabilizing flows. Arlo calculated the precise timing for each adjustment, ensuring that each movement would complement the other. Jason directed, coordinating their actions, making quick decisions when small issues arose. As they worked, the chamber responded. The symbols on the walls rotated faster, aligning with their actions. The constellations above shifted slightly, reflecting the solutions they implemented. Jason felt a thrill of connection not only with his team, but with the structure, as if it recognized and supported their effort. Minutes felt like hours as they focused on the task. Energy streams intertwined, forming a delicate balance. The threatened planet's orbit stabilized, comets and asteroids shifted harmlessly, and the symbols pulsed in approval. Jason could feel a wave of energy ripple through the chamber, warm and exhilarating. Saren observed silently. Finally, she spoke. "Well done. You have proven that humanity is capable of coordination, insight, and courage when it matters most. This is not merely observation, it is understanding. You acted with foresight, creativity, and unity. That is what the universe values. Jason exhaled, a mixture of relief and exhilaration washing over him. He glanced at the team. They were tired but triumphant. They had faced the structure's challenge and succeeded not because of brute strength or advanced technology, but because of human ingenuity, collaboration, and determination. Why test us like this? Jason asked, curious. Why not just share the knowledge directly? Siren's eyes glowed softly. Knowledge without understanding is dangerous. Power without wisdom destroys. The universe requires more than observation. It requires insight and the ability to act responsibly. You have demonstrated that humans are capable of both. Jason nodded slowly. He realized that this experience was more than a test. It was a lesson in what it meant to be human in a vast, complex galaxy. Humanity's curiosity, courage, and ingenuity were their greatest strengths, and when combined, they could achieve extraordinary things. The chamber shifted again, revealing a pathway leading to another section of the structure. This one appeared older, more mysterious, with intricate carvings on the walls that seemed to depict histories of countless civilizations. Some familiar, others alien beyond comprehension. This next chamber, Siren said, will challenge your perception of time and consequence. It will require you to think not only about the present, but also about the past and the potential futures. Are you ready? Jason glanced at his team. Despite their exhaustion, determination burned in their eyes. They had come this far together, and they were not about to falter now. We're ready, he said firmly. The pathway led them to a large, oval chamber. In the center floated a sphere of light, encased in rings of shifting symbols. Jason could feel its presence before he saw it, a sense of knowledge and awareness that extended beyond the physical. The sphere pulsed with intelligence, reacting to their approach. This is the sphere of continuity, Siren explained. It records the histories of civilizations, the rise and fall of worlds, and the connections between actions and outcomes. You will see how decisions echo across time and space. To pass this trial, you must identify a sequence that preserves balance, demonstrating understanding of cause and effect on a cosmic scale. Jason studied the sphere. Images formed within it, civilizations thriving, then collapsing due to miscalculations or short-sightedness. Energy streams connected events across planets and galaxies, showing how small choices could have monumental consequences. He realized the magnitude of what they faced. This trial was not just a puzzle, it was a lesson in responsibility, insight, and perspective. They had to think like a civilization, not just individuals. Dr. Core pointed out a sequence that seemed unstable. If this series of decisions continues, it could lead to collapse, she said. But if we redirect here and here, we could stabilize the outcome for multiple worlds. Jason considered it. We need to simulate the ripple effect, he said. We can't just fix one point, we have to predict and account for the consequences. The team worked together, projecting energy flows, adjusting sequences, and testing outcomes. It was complex, exhausting, and required absolute focus. Jason could feel his mind expanding, forced to think in ways he never had before, to see the threads of cause and effect stretching across space and time. Finally, after careful adjustments, the sphere pulsed with steady light. The chaos of the previous sequences calmed, forming harmonious patterns. Jason felt a wave of relief and triumph. They had not only solved the problem, they had understood it. They had learned to see the universe not as isolated points, but as a web of interconnected actions and consequences. Siren nodded approvingly. You have succeeded in this trial as well. Humanity is more than curiosity, it is insight, courage, and the ability to act with awareness. You have proven that you can handle knowledge and responsibility on a scale that many civilizations could not. This is why you were chosen to witness the heart of Lyra 9. Jason felt a deep sense of pride and awe. Humanity had always reached for the stars, driven by curiosity and determination. Here, on Lyra 9, they were learning that their greatest strength was not technology or numbers but unity, ingenuity, and the ability to perceive beyond the obvious. the chamber began to shift once more, revealing a final pathway. It led to a door of solid light, radiant and inviting. Saren looked at Jason. Beyond this point lies the core of understanding. What you will learn there will shape humanity's place in the galaxy. Are you prepared to take the next step? Jason took a deep breath, looking at his team. They had faced tests, challenges, and revelations together. He knew that whatever lay beyond, they would face it as one. "We're ready," he said firmly. The door opened, bathing them in light, and they stepped forward, toward the unknown, toward knowledge, and toward a future that only human courage, curiosity, and unity could reach.